Welcome to the CAC series on animal behavior. This is the chapter on Tinbergen's 4 levels of explanation. Often throughout our busy daily lives, we experience passing thoughts, questioning what's going on in the world around us. Like, why is that bird singing? Why is that squirrel collecting nuts? Why does my dog bury all of her toys in the backyard? Well, the answers to these questions are actually a lot more complicated than they seem. When studying animal behavior, there are really 4 ways to describe why an animal is performing a certain behavior. In 1963, behavioral biologist Nico Tinbergen conceptualized 4 levels of explanation for any behavior: mechanism, ontogeny, adaptive value, and phylogeny. It is really important to think about all of these levels in order to understand a behavior. The first 2, mechanism and ontogeny, are considered proximate causes because they relate to the more immediate reasons of why an animal performs a behavior. Mechanism usually refers to what sort of external stimuli and resulting internal biological response leads to a specific behavior. For instance, if we return to the birdsong example, seasonal environmental changes in daylight and weather patterns stimulates a hormonal response in birds that leads them to sing. Thus, based on mechanism, one answer to the question of why a bird is singing is because the bird's body is essentially telling him that it's springtime and that it's time to sing. Ontogeny, or development, refers to how the behavior arises in the individual. Is it instinctual or learned? Or a combination of both? If so, how and when do they learn it? Well, songbirds learn their song during a certain window of time, a critical period when they are young. Hence, based on ontogeny, another way to explain why a bird is singing is because they learned to sing when they were younger by listening to other birds of the same species singing and by practicing their song. Now, adaptive value and phylogeny are categorized as ultimate explanations of behavior because they refer to how that behavior has evolved over time. Adaptive value involves how a behavior contributes to the survival and reproduction of an individual. For instance, if a bird song attracts mates, it increases that individual's reproductive success. Thus, yet another way to explain why a bird is singing is so that it can attract mates and reproduce. Phylogeny refers to the evolutionary path of the trait. By studying related and/or ancestral relatives of the species, it is possible to figure out the origin and the prevalence of that behavior. For example, all of the species in the songbird group sing. So yet another way to answer the question of why a bird is singing is that singing is a behavioral trait that the bird shares with other related species and inherited from a common ancestor. In this way, it is possible to comprehensively answer the seemingly simple question, why is that bird singing? And so many other questions related to animal behavior. By applying Tinbergen's 4 levels of explanation of mechanism, ontogeny, adaptive value, and phylogeny, one gets a more complete understanding of a behavior. And the word why begins to mean so much more than we thought it did.